This is an awful idea. I hope you know that, right?
Anthony, the channel is growing, it's getting bigger, and you need to start giving the people what they want. You see the comments, they say, Cal Chester.
Nobody wants this. They just think that they want it.
Let me shine. Let me get mine.
All right, fine. Let's just get through this. All right?
Can I get a super input? Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Cal Chester here, the roommate of the number one guy, hosting a new segment on the Needle Drop titled Your Net Review. Anthony here is giving me a list of albums he has refused to review. Is it because he has some kind of greater purpose? He should be covering something else, or is he being just a jerk and pretentious and snooty? You decide. Even with no review, some of these releases cannot go unanswered. They cannot go unacknowledged. We're going to start off the list right here. You will not review the new Blink-182 album. Makes no sense. Blink-182, punk band. You like punk. They invented punk.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. Yeah, I don't want to review the new Blink-182 LP, Neighborhoods. Yes, it's their first LP in 8 years. And they've come back in prime Blink-182 fashion, and they're sounding like Blink-182. And I don't think you guys need a 6 to 7 minute video telling you that Blink-182 sounds like Blink-182. There are some new additions, like a lot of effects and a lot of synths, but pretty much as usual, these guys are playing pop punk with as much emphasis on pop as you can have before it no longer becomes punk at all. You know, I've never really been big on these guys, but just like everybody back in the day, I've owned a copy of Enema of the State.
All right, fair enough. All right, number 2. You refuse to review the new Primus album. Primus.
Yeah, I don't want to review the new Primus Green Naugahyde, but the thing about that band is that I'm actually still kind of a fan of them, you know? I still actually have Suck on This, Frizzle Fry, Sailing the Seas of Cheese in my collection. Used to own all their albums, actually. Was really obsessed with the band at one point. Thought they were the most original thing on the planet, and then I heard Discipline Era King Crimson and The Residents and Pink Floyd. And I can appreciate that these guys want to bring their sound and style and message to a new generation by still making music, but this is pretty much business as usual for Primus. You've got crazy stories and narrations from Les Claypool, lots of weird, funky, quirky slap bass lines, really hard drumming, lots of grooves. It's Primus. What more do you want? They suck. Never mind, you don't get it. Just the next one. The next one. You don't get the joke.
Well, what do you have to say? You're not going to review the Rapture. Religious, sounds like.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't too into the new Rapture LP. I mean, I liked them so much more when they used to have a post-punk edge on albums like this, but now they just kind of sound like an indie dance band, which is okay. They've still got the pretty eccentric vocals, but, you know, none of the songs themselves were freaking me out, except a couple. I wouldn't say avoid it.
Okay, yeah, well, what about Mr. The Game? I'm sure he worked very hard on the R.E.D. album. Doesn't Mr. Game deserve a review?
I'm sure The Game put the best of his game into this album, but you know, I've never been a Game fan. Even when he was big when I was in college and he had the whole G-Unit backing thing going, I was just never a Game fan. There's nothing on the R.E.D. album that changes my mind. I think it's cool that he's perceptive enough to grab current features like Drake and Tyler the Creator and Kendrick Lamar, and they all come on and they do their thing. They do a great job. I actually loved Tyler on this album. I think he's got some clever lines here and there, especially on the track Shake, but overall this is just like, it's a spotty album. That's my issue. It's not solid all the way through. There are a lot of tracks that I would skip.
You're really a huge jerk. You're ugly. In here. Alright, you won't review the new Thrick record. Thrick E. Why?
Yeah, their name is Thrice. Thrice. Major minor. Been listening to it. Vagrant has a preview of the album online. You know, I've never been a Thrice fan. This album isn't really changing my mind. For loud rock standards, it's just not that cathartic or exciting for me. It just doesn't evoke any emotion out of me whatsoever. The whole LP, even in its like most emotional moments, is just like so meticulously produced and planned out, and like rock music isn't like that for me. Where's the edge on this thing? Where's the danger?
Okay, well, what about Kasabian? Kasabian.
Yeah, the new Kasabian record, Velociraptor, it's not for me. And I'm pretty sure that everyone requesting it knows that already. So why? It's pretty much just expensively produced alternative rock with a very British edge to it, taking a lot of influence from almost every major English rock act since the 60s. They take a lot of influence from Oasis too, I think. It's decent for what it is. I think tracks like Goodbye Kiss are great, but other tracks like The Title really get too corny for me to enjoy them. But hey, it's better than BDI.
Sounds like a great band to me. Okay. Well, your funeral. Alright, you won't review the Dream Theaters. Why?
Yeah, the new Dream Theater. Do I look like a Dream Theater fan? Look, I love progressive rock, but this broke my heart a little bit. I mean, this is the band that made Metropolis Part 2, okay? And now on this, they sound like a watered down nu metal band. Tracks like Build Me Up and Break Me Down, I was honestly wondering if it was like a joke, if it was a bad joke being played on me. Because if I only had that song to go on from this LP, I would guess that even a band like Disturbed could outplay all of these guys technically. I've never been big on John Petrucci's vocals, but they've been better than this.
Well, progressive rock, you like that. Ooh, experimental. That's you like that. You're something. You're terrible. Okay, I've seen a lot of comments for this one. You will not review, says here, Faster the Peoples. Why?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions about that Foster the People album. I'm just not into it. It's very cute, light, fun, easygoing indie pop, but for me it's just kind of in one ear and out the other. None of it really sticks with me. I mean, if you're going to make pop music, it's got to be catchy. It's got to be memorable. It's got to be infectious. And none of this album is that for me. A lot of this LP kind of reminds me of a less experimental MGMT or Passion Pit. I mean, these guys actually make MGMT look like Moondog or Captain Beefheart. And I'm just not into this new strain of indie bubblegum pop that is totally radio ready. This stuff was more fun when Peter, Bjorn, and John were dropping tracks like Amsterdam. Still, it's got its moments. I like the song Don't Stop. That one's really good.
Oh, it's too sugary for you. Brush your teeth and you'll be okay. Alright, and last one, you don't want to talk about Bombay Bicycle Club. Bicycle Club. Green. Save energy. Greenhouse gases. Sounds like good.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way on the Bombay Bicycle Club that I do the Foster the People. It's just not really pushing me in one direction, hate, or the other direction, love, all that much. It's just kind of got me right down the middle of the road. It's fine for what it is. Fun, light, poppy, and no boundaries pushed at all in any direction. This album avoids boundaries like they've got the cooties.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Fantano outright refuses to review these releases. Maybe it's against his best interests to do so, especially considering there are leagues of talented artists among these groups. But whatever he chooses, that's his channel, it's his party. He'll die if he wants to. Alright, this has been a segment of you're not reviewing. And next month we'll have another one when Anthony probably decides not to review other things because they're not experimental enough or they're not adventurous or whatever. How do you end these things usually?
I don't know. Just say whatever you want at this point. This was terrible.
Chuchesta.